Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the fuse so I can bring bad news to all these crews who can't NBA jam with the shoe.
Everybody, welcome back to a quick beer review. I am fired up for this beer. 20 years of Heady Topper from The Alchemist. This is their 20th anniversary release. This can is awesome. I wish this was a sticker so I could take it off and put it on my fridge. But yeah, to celebrate 20 years of Heady Topper, John Kimmick decided to do a 10%. I guess this is a triple IPA version of Heady. I think the hops are a little different. Recipe might be a little different. I don't know. I'd heard they're doing 4 releases this year. Tried to get my hand on the first release, couldn't. Was able to get a can of this one. So big thanks to my man Brandon for helping out. This is one of those beers. It's a 10% beer. This is not something I wanted like cases of. I just wanted a can to drink and check it out. And I want to keep this can. So yeah, Alchemist is in Vermont, Stowe, Vermont, I think. It says 100% independent, family owned. There's a bunch of stuff talking about 20th anniversary of Heady Topper. 10%. And it was canned on February 15th. It's funny, they canned this on the 15th and then they waited 2 weeks to release it. So time of recording, it is less than 2 weeks from its release, but about 3 weeks in the can. So let's do it. Fired up, super stoked. We're gonna use our Heady glassware because this is my favorite glass of all time. This beer is ice cold out of the fridge. It is 10%. I always drink my triple IPAs ice cold. So if for some reason you had this beer and you're smelling notes, your tasting notes that smell different or taste different than what I'm smelling and tasting, if you let your can sit out and warm up, that's probably why. So I always say that in all my videos. So the first release of this was like clear, like a West Coast style beer, and not on purpose, but this beer is hazy. This looks like Heady to me. It's that cool, just orange color. 2 fingers of fluffy, marshmallowy, bright white head. This glass with this can, are you kidding me? It's proper AF. Looks awesome. I'm a big Heady Topper fan. We just drank Heady again. We kind of revisited it a couple months ago. Still loved it. I didn't get to try Heady Topper until I think 2014 was the first time I tried it. So I was 10 years late to the game. But I have very much enjoyed this beer over the last 10 years, and I'm stoked to check this beer out. So this smells, what does this smell like? It smells like Heady, but it smells sweeter than Heady. It's 10%. It is super tropical. Not nearly as dank as the last can of regular. Gosh, I'm having a hard time with words this morning. Not as dank smelling as the last can of regular Heady Topper I had. This is very much like orangey, grapefruity, tropical fruity with a big like bready sweetness. I mean, there's a big hop presence there, but it's more of like maybe that's floral. It doesn't smell dank to me. The last can of Heady I had was like, I was like, whoa, I don't remember it being dank like this. But it just smells explosive. It's super hoppy, juicy, bready. It smells great. Let's go and taste it. Cheers, Brandon. Appreciate you, bro. I was gonna say, you didn't smell the 10%, which is wild. Okay, so awesome. This beer is really fucking hoppy. This tastes the bitterness that I didn't remember, the West Coast aspect that I didn't remember of Heady Topper is here in spades. But holy smokes, this hides the 10% well. Jeez. That sweet tropical thing that you smell, it's there on the front of your tongue. As it goes across your palate, it gets bitter. I love it. It is really hoppy, bitter, pithy citrus. Like, I think it's more of like a lemon zest, that kind of citrus as far as like the pithiness goes. But on the finish, it's just this big like sweet crackery thing that works so well with all the intense like hot matter that's on your tongue. I understand, I think, why they had this hang out in the can for a couple weeks before they released it, just because it's very raw hoppy tasting, if that makes sense. I love that. I'm a West Coast IPA guy at heart. I love intense. I love bitter. I love zesty. That floral thing we were smelling is there on the taste too. It's got a floral note to it, but very tropical. And dare I say, it's very drinkable for 10%. This is fantastic. This is really, really good. It drinks under the ABV in my opinion. It's chewy, but yeah, it's bright, hoppy, floral, maybe a little piney, but that tropical note, I don't know what that is. It's maybe, I always thought like before Heady Topper was peachy, so it could be like stone fruits that I'm tasting. But yeah, if you're into like intensely hoppy beers like I am that hide ABV well, you're fucking stoked on this beer. This is fantastic. But again, this is a 10% beer. This is not a beer I need to drink all the time. This is a beer I'm stoked I got to drink this can, but not ever getting to drink it again would not be like an issue for me. I just don't need 10% beers in my life. But this is fucking world class. Fantastic stuff. This makes you want to like trade or try and seek out Heady Topper just to have all the time again. I love Heady Topper, and I'm in Southern California. They're in Vermont. Like logistically, it just doesn't work for me, but this is really, really good. This is an amped up version of an absolute legendary craft beer. That's worthy of a 20th anniversary release, I think. This is one of those things, they're going to release it 4 times this year. We'll never have it again, and that's fine. It's awesome. It's just, yeah, it's a great beer. Glad I got to drink it. You got to like hops, though, because it is bitter, it is pithy, it is intense, it is really, really good. So that's the 20th anniversary edition of Heady Topper. Did you guys get your hands on this one? Let's talk about it. I am very interested to see what the Untappd check-ins on this are. I think because it's a hyped beer that not a lot of people, it was hard to get this beer. I think the hype is probably going to bump up the Untappd ratings. We'll see. I think this could be like in the 4 or 5 range, which is insane for that app, especially for something like Heady Topper. People, a lot of people on my last video, they were like, I still drink Heady, I still love it. But I think these days, like the hype beast dudes don't care about Heady, they don't care about Pliny. But I think this beer, I think the hype will factor into it, and I think people will just be going nuts over it. It's awesome. So I think that's it. Appreciate you guys watching. See you soon. Cheers.
Thank you for coming behind the bar, in the arcade, all that shit.
Ever since I was younger, I was into video games.
Somebody like the fuse so I can bring bad news to all these crews who can't NBA jam with the shoe.